Bullshit.
It's the No BS Marketing Show. I'm Dave Mastovich, CEO and founder of Massolutions, the world's only no bullshit marketing agency. Never say never. I learned that as a writer in my first ever college class. It's actually a funny story. I'm a freshman in college, partying the night before the first classes, had an 8 o'clock class. I'm hiding in the back of the class with a baseball cap down pretty low, trying to remain anonymous. Like anyone at that age, you're a little nervous and socially conscious. And the professor comes in, and I'll never forget, I can still see him in my mind's eye. He probably was about 50 years old, but he looked really unique in that he had like a mustache that was kind of like one of those, the curve or whatever, like Raleigh Fingers had when he was a pitcher in the 70s and 80s. But he still had also a beard and paunchy face and bald, but all white hair on his mustache, beard, and a little bit on his head. And he was like I am with marketing. He was extremely passionate about writing and English and all of that stuff. He goes off and immediately starts talking about a bunch of things, and I'm kind of dozing off in the back of the classroom. And out of the clear blue, he just yells, "Where's Dave Mastovich?" Now you can imagine the horror which I felt trying to remain anonymous. And in my first class, someone's yelling, "Where's Dave Mastovich?" And I look up and I like sheepishly put my hand up. And he comes walking towards me emphatically with his hands flailing. "I just want to shake your hand." He sticks his hand out and he goes, "We share the same birthday." I was like, wow. He then goes back up to the front and he said, "All right, I'm going to tell you a couple things that you need to remember. Never say never. Never write never. Always avoid using always. And every time you think you're going to use every, don't." I paused and he said, "Never say never." He said, You can't back it up. You can't back it up. Don't use words that aren't accurate. Now, all's another one, we all tend to do this, and I shouldn't use the word all either, because it'd be better if I said most people tend to do this. Most people do say, "That's never going to happen," or "every time we do this," or "we always do that." They're inaccurate words. While it's unlikely that we will remember to avoid using the words never, every, and always all the time, while it's unlikely we'll even avoid using them infrequently, we should try to think it through. So when I write, I will make sure that I take out never. I'll try to take out always. I'll try to take out every. And he also mentioned that first class, the word very. Now think about the impact that John Hunter, that professor, had on me all these decades later. I still edit people by taking the word very out, because he made the point that if someone's very good, what's the difference between very good and good? They're good. So the word very doesn't bring a tremendous amount of value. You can use it. I'm just saying it doesn't bring a whole lot of value. And since less is more, since clarity and brevity are hugely important to your storytelling, to your communication, to your content, take out words that aren't bringing value or that are flat out inaccurate. Never is highly unlikely to be correct. Every is highly unlikely to be correct. Always is highly unlikely to be correct. The overarching thing that I'm trying to cover is words matter. You've heard me say that again and again, that words matter. Well, the way you live that words matter is remembering that each word not only has a power to harm, hurt, or detract from what you're saying, it also can be inaccurate, which doesn't help and can lead to people ignoring you or losing credibility. So clarity and brevity are important. Less is indeed more. You want to focus on words that bring value to your story. Words that convey a powerful message that's memorable. Words that make an emotional impact. So when Professor John Hunter, Dr. John Hunter said to me, never say never, always avoid using always, and every time you think of using every, don't. He was trying to help me as a storyteller, me as a writer, to be more cognizant that each word has a job to do. And if that job is to tell your story in a powerful way, then never, every, always, all, they take away from that because they aren't really able to be true. And words like very don't bring much to the table. I could have said they don't bring very much to the table, but really they don't bring much to the table. So what's the difference? One less word. So I'm closing out by saying that I learned a lot in that first college class that I've brought to anyone that's been on my teams over the course of my life and brought it to my sons. So think about that. You have that kind of influence and impact on others every day. There's someone out there that you can make an impact on that will be lasting. I cherish that opportunity to make that impact on others, and I am been so blessed to be impacted by people like Dr. Hunter and other people that have mentored me or taught me over my career. So I try to give back and pay it forward, all of that stuff. But I want to make sure that I help today by saying that words matter, and I hope that this helps you. Thanks for listening to another episode of the No BS Marketing Show, recorded here in our studio in bold, beautiful downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Remember, ask yourself, what's the big idea? And build your story around the answer. It's all about bold solutions, no BS.